Hello, my name is Stuart, the ISO 27001 Ninja, and in this tutorial we're going to look at ISO 27001 Annex A17 clock synchronization. So we're going to look at what clock synchronization is, how you're going to go about implementing it, some common mistakes that people make. This comes on the back of the two previous tutorials. So it comes on the back of 8.15 logging and 8.16 monitoring. What we're looking at here is a technical requirement, right? It's a technical requirement. What we're looking at is for technical infrastructure, technical things that the internal clock, the time, the date, the mechanism that they have is synchronized across your environment. The reason that we want to do this is that when we generate things like logs, when we're doing our monitoring, we need to make sure that it is a true representation of when that thing occurred and that there is commonality across our environment, right? We don't want to be saying that at 2 a.m. this happened, but this system thinks it's 4 a.m. and we can't correlate that. We've got to get a common sense and a common source of truth. So clock synchronization, you're going to need the help of your technical teams. This isn't something a GRC consultant like me can technically tell you how to do system by system, operating system and by operating system, hardware by hardware. What I can do is I can tell you the requirement, the definition. The definition is the clocks of information processing systems used by the organization should be synchronized to approved time sources. So what we've got to do here is we've got to identify what those approved time sources are. Then we've got to make sure that all of our infrastructure and systems are synchronized and getting their time source from that thing. The whole point of this is that everything is synchronized and that it is reporting and recording and using the same time. The information is used in information security incidents and at the most extreme case in investigations. It's part of evidence gathering and would need to be in place for a criminal investigation. The advice here would be speak with your technical teams on the best approach and the best technology to use. The need may arise from legal, regulatory, statutory, contractual, standards, internal monitoring needs. So this would be the first place to look and see if there is anything specific that you need to do. The basic premise is get all the clocks of all the devices on the same page, includes things you might not consider. So things such as building entry systems or surveillance systems, right? This is anything that you have deemed in scope for your ISO 27001 certification. It's probably more practical to have all devices of a certain type synced to the same source rather than every device of every type connected to the same source. But again, take the advice of your technical teams. Some systems may use their own time source, for example. So a clock for each service is acceptable with any difference recorded in order to mitigate the risk of discrepancies. Also document everything that you do, right? If you're doing something and there's an anomaly, document it. The advice of the standard talks about linking to a radio time broadcast from a national atomic clock or global positioning system and protocols such as networking time protocol or precision time protocol to keep all networks and systems in synchronization with a reference clock. For a small organization, it can be overkill, but get the most technically simple solution to you and engage with that technical team. What do I want to see as an auditor? I want to see that you have defined what your source of truth is. I want to see evidences that you are connecting to that source of truth. And I want to see that source of truth and that time clock synchronization implemented in your organization. And then when you're showing me the logs, when you're showing me your monitoring, that I can see that and that I can see that that is working. I want to see that you've documented that. I want to see that you've documented that process. And I want to see that through internal audit that you are checking that on a periodic basis. One for the technical teams, not particularly hard to implement from a GRC perspective, shouldn't be hard to implement from a technical perspective as clock synchronization again is built in now into most of the modern technologies that we have. Implement your synchronization, support A15 logging, support A16 monitoring, and you are going to be absolutely golden. My name is Stuart Barker. I am the ISO 27001 Ninja, author of the ISO 27001 Toolkit. And until the next tutorial, peace out.